Tashidilek to all the class 12 students. Today I will be taking the next topic of the chapter application of derivatives, out of which we had taken or we had discussed two topics, right? That is how we can apply derivatives in finding the rate of change of quantities, and how we can check the nature of the function in certain interval, right? When I say nature of the function, I mean whether the function is increasing, decreasing, or strictly increasing or strictly decreasing. Okay, so we had taken these two topics from this chapter. Today I'll be taking the next topic, okay, that is so today we will be discussing this topic, okay, maxima and minima. In the textbook you will see that this topic is not in the continuation of the previous topic which we had taken. Okay, in between you will find two more topics, but I am taking this topic since it is related to the last topic that we had discussed, increasing and decreasing function. Okay, so therefore skipping the two topics, I am going to take this topic, okay, that is maxima and minima value of a function. Okay, so before coming to this topic, maxima and minima, I want to discuss about this thing. Now all of you know the meaning of maximum, right? And you also know the minimum, right? So these two words you are familiar with. Okay, what do we mean by maximum and minimum? Okay, now the same meaning is to be applied for a function's value. Okay, graphically I'll try to show you. If I have this function y is equals to fx, okay, in the interval, if I write first, let me consider closed interval AB. Okay, now you know the difference between open and closed interval. So here I have taken my interval as closed interval AB, which means I have to include A and B, right? So x can be equal to A and B. So you have to include the extreme points. A and B are to be included. Okay, so let me write the graph of this function as, for example, if I take it like this, let my interval be AB, closed interval AB, and if my function is, say, let me take the graph of this function is somewhat like this, y is equals to f of x. Okay, now you can see that the function fx, okay, is increasing in the interval. It's strictly increasing in the interval AB. So graphically you can see that, and you know how to check it. Okay, so now when I say maximum and minimum value of the function, so which means you have to see what will be the maximum function value and what is the minimum function value. So when I say maximum and minimum, I'm talking about the maximum and minimum value of the function, right? Which means when you substitute any point from here, right, what do you get? The function values. Okay, so you will get different function values. So at A you will get the function value, so it is f of A. So the function value is f of A, and B you get f of B as your function value, right? So and therefore at this point, let me take this as C. So at this point you will get f of C, so on. So at each point you will get different function values, is it right? So out of all these function values, okay, you have to consider the minimum value and the maximum value. Okay, so here you can see that graphically f of A is the minimum value of the function and f of B is the maximum value of the function. So it's quite simple. Okay, graphically you can see that f of B is the maximum value and f of A is the minimum value, right? So when I say a minimum value, if I say that f of A is minimum, this means, okay, if we take any point other than A in the interval AB, okay, corresponding to these points you will get a function value. All these function values will be greater than or equals to f of A, because f of A is the minimum value of the function. Okay, minimum means the least value the function can take. Okay, so f of A is the minimum value. Okay, so for all C in the interval AB, f of c, right, the function value will be greater than or equals to f of a. Okay, if you get a point in the interval ab at which let me take the point as c. If you find any c in the interval ab such that f of c is less than f of a, then f of a cannot be the minimum value. So f of c will be the minimum value, right? So when I say that f of a is the minimum value, then it means within this interval ab, if you take any point, right, so all the function value at that point will be greater than or equals to f of a. So therefore we can say that f of a is the minimum value of the function, right? Similarly, now when I say that f of b is the maximum value of the function, then it means when you take any point in the interval ab, right, so all the function values will be less than or equals to f of b. Since f of b is maximum, okay, so the function value cannot exceed f of b, okay, because it is the maximum value. So you cannot go beyond the maximum value, right? So therefore, when I say that f of b is the maximum value of the function, then it means within this interval, if you take any point and you find the function value, you will see that it is less than or equals to f of b. So therefore we say that f of b is the maximum function value of the function. Is that clear? Okay. Okay, all right. Now when we take the interval as closed interval ab, so then we say that f of a is the maximum value of the function, and at a the function is attaining its maximum value. So therefore we say that a is the point of maximum value of the function. Okay. Similarly, f of a is the minimum value of the function, and a is the point of minimum value of the function, because at a the function is attaining its minimum value. Okay. Similarly, if I take f of b is the maximum value of the function, and b is the point of maximum value of the function. So this is how we define maximum value and minimum value of the function. Okay. Now can you think in the other way? Okay, for a function, is it always possible that a function will get a maximum and a minimum value? Okay, so we'll try to go in that way. Okay, now what happens if I change the interval into this interval? Right now, if I consider this interval open a and closed b, now you know the meaning of this interval, right? A is to be excluded and b is to be included, right? So since this a is to be excluded, a is x will not take the value a, right? We can see that graphically, if x is equals to a, then at a the function is attaining its minimum value, right? Now in case if I exclude a, right, because we are given here open interval, so a is to be excluded. So when this a is excluded, so then can you find out the nearest point to a? So is it possible for us to get the point which is nearest to a? It's not possible, because we know that between any two real number there lies infinitely many real numbers, right? So therefore you cannot find out the nearest point to a at which the function may attain the minimum value. We cannot do that, right? So therefore what happens is, we will say that sorry. So we will say that the function, okay, for this function the minimum value does not exist, right? Because at a the function is attaining its minimum value, but a is to be excluded, so we cannot find out the nearest point to a. So therefore what you are going to do is, we cannot find out the point which is nearest to a, so therefore we will say that the minimum value of the function does not exist, right? Whereas you can find out the maximum value, you can find out, okay? Maximum means b is included, right? So at b, graphically easily you can see that at b the function is attaining its maximum value. Okay, so by this what I mean to say is, when you have a function in certain interval, okay, then the maximum and minimum value of the function, maximum and minimum value, also you can call it at extreme values. Extreme values means minimum or maximum. Okay, so for a given function in any interval, the extreme values of the function may exist, may not exist. It depends on the interval. Okay, so now it is not necessary that a function will always have the extreme values. Okay, so I have shown you one example here. When we change the interval, you can see that the minimum value of this function does not exist. Okay, similarly, if I now change my interval into open interval AB. Okay, so then we are also this B is also to be excluded, right? So then you cannot find out the nearest point to B at which the function may attain its maximum value. Okay, so for this function, when x is in the interval open interval AB, and for this particular graph, you will say that the maximum and minimum value or the extreme values of the function does not exist. Okay, so now for a function, the maximum and minimum values may exist, it may not exist. Okay, so that you have to check for, but you remember that for any function it is not necessary that always the extreme values will exist. Okay, so there may be some function for which you cannot find out both maximum and minimum values, or you cannot find out one of the extreme values. So it happens, right, depending on the interval and the given function, right? So this is all about maximum and minimum value of the function. Okay, okay, then the next thing I'm going to define is now this is very important. Okay, local maxima and local minima. Okay, local maxima and local minima means local. Okay, now you try to think over the word local. What do we mean by local? Okay, so local means instead of taking the whole interval given, okay, you will consider small intervals, and locally in that interval you will try to find out the maximum and minimum values of the function, right? Okay, one more thing, let's come to this topic. Okay, for a function, if the extreme values exist, if you can find out the maximum value and if you can find out the minimum value, then that extreme value will be unique. Okay, for a function there will be only one maximum value if it exists. Okay, and similarly the function will have only one minimum value if it exists. For example, if I say that maximum value of the function is 10 and 12, I cannot say that, right? Maximum value will be obviously 12. You cannot have two maximum values, you cannot have that. Okay, so for a function, if the maximum value exists, then there will be only one maximum value. The maximum value will be unique. You will get only one maximum value. Okay, similarly minimum value, right, it will be unique. Okay, you will get only one maximum and minimum value for a function if it exists. Okay, now when we talk about the local maxima and local minima, okay, so then what you have to do is the given interval, it is to be divided into sub-intervals, and within those intervals, sub-intervals, okay, you have to locally find the maximum and minimum values of the function. Okay, let me give you this example. Okay, if I give you this, for this function y is equals to fx, where fx is in the interval AB. Okay, so let me write this and see if my interval is a to b. Okay, so if I write my function as okay, let this be my function. Okay, now you look at the graph. Okay, what is the maximum value of the function? Okay, so since it is closed interval, okay, we will have the maximum and minimum value, right? Okay, now what is the maximum value of the function? Let me write this point as C1, this as C2, and this as C3, right? So you can see that at C the function is attaining its maximum value. Here you get f of C1, is it, right? And this is f of A. Okay, this is f of C1, this is f of C2, right? And this is f of C3, and this is f of B. Okay, so now we have this graph, right? Now what is the maximum value of the function? It is f of C1, because at C1 the function is attaining its maximum value. So we say that C1 is the point of maximum value of the function, right? Now I'm just talking about maximum and minimum, not going to this local maxima and local minima. Okay, so f of C1 is the maximum value, which means if you take any point within the interval AB, there will be no function value which will exceed f of c1. Okay, so therefore we say that f of c1 is the maximum value. You will get only one maximum value. Okay, and f of b is the minimum value of the function, right? So it is least. So we say that b is the point of minimum value of the function, and c1 is the point of maximum value of the function, and f of c1 is the maximum value of the function, f of b is minimum value of the function. Okay, you write this just for okay, f of c1 is maximum value, okay, of the function, and c1 is the point of maximum value of the function, because at c1 the function is attaining its maximum value, so we call it as point of maximum value of the function. And f of c2 is not c2, sorry, f of b is the minimum value of the function, okay, and b is the point of minimum value of the function, right? So this thing you have to remember, and from this you can know that not necessarily always the function will have its maximum and minimum value at the point of extreme points. It's not it does not happen every time, right? So this is one example where you can see that the function is attaining its maximum value at c1, which is not extreme point. Okay, so this can also happen. So depending on the graph, you can see that what is the maximum value and what is the minimum value of the function. So in this way you can define what is maximum value of the function, what is minimum value of the function, what is the point of maximum value of the function, and what is the point of minimum value of the function, right? So for a function, if the maximum and minimum, I'm repeating it, okay, so for a function, if the maximum and minimum value of the function exist, it may exist, may not exist. If it exists, then that value is unique. You will not get two or more maximum values and two or more minimum values. Okay, so you will get only one maximum value and one minimum value for a function, right? Okay, now let's come to the local maxima and local minima, right? So what we are going to do is, okay, now local means you have to take sub-intervals, right? Okay, now I'm going to divide it into intervals. Okay, so interval, let me take this as the interval. Let me take this as one interval, right? Now if I look at the interval a to c2, within this interval a to c2, the function is attaining its maximum value at c1. Okay, so we say that c1 is the point, c1 is the local maxima. Local maxima means the maximum value of the function in certain sub-intervals, in restricted intervals. Okay, so locally you are finding out the maximum value of the function. Locally means not taking the whole interval, you are dividing it into sub-intervals, and then in that interval you are finding out the maximum and minimum value, so which is called as the local maxima and local minima. Okay, now one more thing you have to remember is when you divide it into interval, right? So when I say that at c1 the function is attaining its local maxima, then what do we mean by local maxima? It should be like this. On the left hand side of c1 the function should increase, right? And then on the right hand side of c1 the function should decrease. Is that clear, right? Okay, let me give you another example. If I not take this, okay, now if I consider this interval, instead of taking a to c2, if I just consider this interval, okay, say a to c1, then you cannot say that c1 is the local maxima, because when you are finding the local maxima, then you should know the nature of the function on both left hand side of c1 and right hand side of c1. It should be like this. If you take this interval a to c1, then in this interval the function is increasing on the left hand side of c1, but you don't know the nature of the function on the right hand side of c2. It may be like this also, it may go like this also. Then in that case it is not the local maxima. Okay, So when we say that local maxima, then you should study the nature of the function on the both sides of C1, on the left hand side, and this right hand side of C1. Okay, so when you say the local maxima value of the function, so your function should be like this. It will increase on the left hand side, and then it will start decreasing on the right hand side. Is that clear? So taking A to C1 as your interval, then you will not get f of C1 as the local maximum. That you have to remember. So when you say local maxima, then you should know the nature of the function on both left hand side and right hand side of the point. Are you clear with that? Okay. Similarly, now you cannot say that A is the local minima, right? Because you don't know the nature of the function on the left hand side of A. Okay. If it goes like this, then it is the local minima in the interval, whatever interval you have. Okay. And if it goes like this, then it is not the local minimum value of the function. So therefore, to know the local maxima and local minima, you should know the nature of the function on both sides of the point. Okay, C1. Are you clear with that? Okay. Now in the interval A to C2, C1 is the point of local maxima, and f of C1 is the local maximum value of the function. Okay. Similarly, now if I take this interval C1 to C3, okay, if I take this interval C1 to C3, okay, then at this C2 the function is attaining its minimum value. It's like this. Okay, so then this f of C2 is called as the local minimum value of the function. Okay, and C2, the point, is called as the point of local minimum value of the function. Are you clear with that? So local maxima and local minima means it should go like this. Local maxima means the function should first increase and then it should decrease. Okay, so then the that point is called as the local point of local maxima, and the value is called as the local maximum value of the function. Similarly, it is like this. Okay, then if I take the interval C2 to B, if I take this interval C2 to B, okay, then this is the local maximum value of the function. Okay, and C3 is the point of local maximum value of the function, right? Okay, then if we take the interval C3 to B, okay, then can you say that B is the local minimum value of the function? You just think over it. Can you say B is the local minimum value of the function? Yes or no? Okay, I will say no, because we don't know the nature of the function on the right hand side of B. Okay, it may go like this. If this happens, then B is the f of B is the local minimum value of the function. But your graph, if it goes like this, then you cannot say that f of B is the local minimum value of the function. Okay, so to say whether it is a local maximum or local minimum value of the function, you should know the nature of the function on both sides of the points. Okay, is that clear? So this is how we define local maxima and local minima value of the function, right? Okay, now here we can observe one more thing, that is, okay, a function can have more than one local maximum value and local minimum value of the function, right? Whereas a function will have a unique maximum and minimum value of the function if it exists, because when you are talking about the maximum and minimum value of the function, you are taking the whole interval on which you will get only one only one maximum and minimum value of the function if it exists, right? Whereas when we are talking about the local maxima and local minima, okay, then you are dividing the given whole interval into sub-intervals, and in each sub-interval you are checking the maximum and minimum value of the function, which we call it as local maxima and local minima. Okay, so a function can have more than one local maxima and local minima value of the function. For example, for this particular function, you get two local maximum values of the function. F of C1 is also a local maximum value of the function. F of C3 is also a local maximum value of the function, right? Similarly, this C2, okay, you get only one local minimum value of the function. So it depends on the interval. Okay, so a function can have, you can just conclude this, right? A function will have unique maximum and minimum value of the function if it exists, right? And a function can have more than one local maxima and local minimum value of the function. Okay, so first you just understand these two. what is the difference between maximum and minimum value of the function and local maximum and local minimum value of the function. So you should know the difference between these two. Okay. Now we will be applying, okay, till now we are not making any application of derivative here. We were just studying the type of functions, okay, how we get the maximum and minimum, how we get the local maximum, local minimum value of the function, right? Now we are now going to apply derivative, okay, in finding out the local maximum and local minimum value of the function, okay. So now you know what do we mean by local maximum and local minimum value of the function. So we will be applying derivatives to get the local maxima and local minimum value of the function. Okay, so this is the thing today we are going to discuss, right? Okay. So for this particular topic, you may feel that theoretical portion is quite lengthy, but if you know the concept, it's quite simple. Okay, so I recommend you to go through this video 2-3 times until you're clear enough, okay, and then you just come to this part. Okay. Okay, now we shall see the application of derivatives in finding out the local maximum and local minimum value of the function. But before that, we will try to observe how we can actually apply derivative. Okay. So now you're familiar with the graph. You can imagine the graph of a local maximum value of the function and a local minimum value of the function, right? So I will not go with the details of all the definitions. Okay, after this lesson I will give you the short notes on the definitions of maximum and minimum value of the function, local maximum and local minimum value of the function, so you can look at the definition there, right? So here I will just explain, okay, the local maximum and local minimum of value of the function, how can we apply derivative here, right? Okay, so if I have this, okay, first we'll just graphically see and try to understand this. Okay, so you can okay, just consider this much, right? Okay, so let your graph be this. Okay, okay, now graphically easily you can see that at C1 the function is attaining its local maximum value of the function, and C2 is the point at which the function is attaining its local minimum value of the function. Now you know that a function can have more than one local maximum value of the function and local minimum value of the function. Okay, so just for explanation, I am taking only one local maximum and one minimum value of the function. Okay, now we have this C1 is the point of local maximum value of the function and C2 is the point of local minimum value of the function. Okay, so first you should know these two, which means at C1 the function is attaining its local maximum value of the function. So therefore we say that f of C1 is the local maximum value of the function, and f of C2 is the minimum value, local minimum value of the function, right? Okay, this is one thing you can observe. The next thing, the point of local maxima and point of local minima is always the critical point. Now in increasing and decreasing function topic, in the previous topic we had discussed what do we mean by critical point. Okay, so critical point is a point at which the function is changing its behavior, right? So if you remember, so when I say that it is a point of local maxima or the point of local minima, that point is always a critical point, right? Okay, can you say that A is the point of local maxima or local minima? You cannot say that because we don't know the nature of the function on the left hand side of A. So therefore you cannot say that A is the point of local minima, right? So point of local minima means you should know the nature of the function on both left hand side and right hand side to that point. Okay,